Hello Wargamers, back for another game of 40k, part of our continuing narrative campaign, the Siege of Hellios. Game 5 now, again it's still in 7th edition, 8th hasn't dropped yet, and well, probably really should finish the campaign up in 7th just to get it all over and done with. We'll have a big, huge APOC game or whatever at the end of it for funds. Right, so, quick recap on what's happened so far. The last game, the Iron Warriors landing zone was, well, pretty much obliterated by the Cult mech, and now the Imperial forces are starting to arrive on the planet. The Iron Warriors do need to do something, but they're limited to roving warbands and what orbital support they can get from their ships in orbit. So they've come up with a pretty dastardly plan. Some of their Chaos sorcerers have figured about summoning up a warp storm, but to do that they're going to need to kill an awful lot of people. Which is why, when you see the table, we're having a bit of a custom scenario, a little bit of a breakthrough combined with what's happening is the Iron Warriors are going after the HAB units, the HAB shelters below this ruined industrial city on the Forge World. So they're going to try and get in, get underground and just go on a murdering spree, kill as many people as they can to the Dark Gods and yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to take you through the armies in a second and show you the table, and we'll go through mission specials before we actually get cracking. Alright, and here is my very, very low numbered army. Kind of went for a bit more of a narrative force. So, primary CAD. You have a Lord Commissar with power sword, plasma pistols, carapace arm, melter bombs, all the goodies. Comes with a refractor field as standard. Next to him I have 10 what are called Tempesta Scions. There's a power sword in there and 2 melter guns. Oh, and they're flying in a Valkyrie. I haven't decided which one. They're different armament, different loadout. But the other squad of Tempesta Scions, there's a plasma pistol on the Prime, there's 2 hotshot volley guns, again flying taxi. Flying taxis differ slightly. In one here has rocket pods, heavy bolter sponsons and a multi-laser. The other one has the standard hell strikes, las cannon mount, and still has heavy bolters because yeah, I like having heavy bolters on everything, especially now coming into 8th. We have an Ordo Malleus Inquisitor. He's got Terminator armor, a Demon hammer, Storm bolter with Psybolt, so it's strength 5, and Imperial brain mines because yeah, he's just that badass. Obviously he's just on his own, he's just come in with whatever he could find. And the representatives of the Cult Mechanicum, we have 3 Haywire Breachers, Hydraulic Claw in there. We have a Tech Priest Dominus. He has a conversion field, he has digital weapons. Other than that, he's bare bones, standard Volkite, standard macro stubber. Engine Seer with 2 servitors. I believe he has a refractor field, melter bombs. So he's got his usual loadout, he's had that for the last couple of games. And we have a Castellan Robot Maniple backing things up to add some weight of things. Twin linked heavy phosphor blasters, but they are both incendiary combustors. Excuse the stupid gluingness, so I really should leave that separate. So they're both incendiary combustors on the carapace. Yeah, and that is my army. Glad this is a narrative game because there's lots of characters in there this time for David to challenge, but not much actual meat to hide behind. So yeah, we'll hand you over to David and he can take you through his army.
And in my army today we have a Chaos Lord on a Chaos Bike, Power Sword, Plasma Pistol, Mark of Nurgle. He will be in a 3-man unit of Chaos Bikers, also Mark of Nurgle, 2 Melter Guns, and a Combi Melter and Lightning Claw on the Champion. The second HQ unit will be 1 Sorcerer, 4 Sword, Bolt Pistol. Both he and the Lord have Order of Dark Glory. No mark on this one. He has an extra. He has level 2 and he has a Spell Familiar. Troops, we have a 9-man unit of Nurgle marked Chaos Space Marines with Icon Despair. 1 Plasma Gun. The Champion has a Bolt Pistol and Power Sword. The second unit is a 10-man unit of Nurgle marked Chaos Space Marines with Icon Despair as well. The champion has Power Fist and Bolt Pistol. The unit has a Heavy Bolter and Flamer. In Elites, we have one one Contemptor Dreadnought with a pair of Heavy Bolters, a Havoc Launcher, Dedication of Nurgle, and he will be riding in a Dreadclaw drop pod. And finally, my heavy... also there's 2 transport options, one for each of the troops choices. One is a Rhino with Combi Bolter and Havoc Launcher and Dirge Caster. The other one is the same, except it has a Combi Flamer. And rounding out the force, we have a squad of 3 Nurgle marked Obliterators.
Oh, almost forgot, custom scenario. It's not going to be quite that easy for the Iron Warriors. There is a vent. There is an entrance to the hab areas underground. And there is another one right here outside this radar station with... oh, god damn it! I need something tacky to hold that down. Anyway, it's a radar station. Believe me, peoples. The Iron Warriors, for every infantry unit that spends nothing but basically getting in there and causing mayhem, is going to score 3 victory points. Other than that, it's pretty much straight kill points. So we will we'll get on with David's turn 1, and back to you after that. Sorry about the addendum. Catch you in a bit. And David's movement phase into turn 1 before he starts actually opening fire on me. Rhinos have just rolled in 6 inches, bikes their usual 12. You notice the Dreadclaw, there was a slight problem, a screw up and a mishap, and ended up I deployed it, so I'm sticking it as far away from anything squishy as possible. I don't like that Contemptor. It hurts and doesn't die easily, and I know I shot a lot of it during our first game. So, right, onwards with the shooting. Oh, Psychic?
I think I've only got Maledictions, and there's the one that just describes himself as a Psychic Power, so I don't have any Witchfire.
Oh, okay, so don't worry about that then. Straight to shooting phase. Right, we'll come
actually, back. I can go and cast my Blessings onto the vehicle I'm in, can't I?
I think so, yeah, if they're vehicle related. Well, anyway, we'll do all that, and we'll come back to you at the end of the Psychic and shooting phase. Okay, and we are back at the end of Iron Warrior shooting phase. Bearing in mind, you know, not an awful lot of stuff's in range. It's all fairly low level munitions at the moment. The Dreadclaw, the only thing really worthy of note is the Dreadclaw flat outed to there. So now I'm probably going to be forced to actually have to deal with it. So, right, I'm going to do my moves and then we'll get back to you. And we are back at the end of Mechanica movement phase. I've just moved back a little bit, came into contact with that, and this time my dude's got deadly Xeno creatured, and I've lost a wound on that breacher. I'll put it back on the shooting phase, but with a little luck, that's not a huge issue. Inquisitor scooched over a little bit, just really trying to make room for the shrouding. Tried casting it, failed badly, which is the psychic phase as well. The Castellan robots have moved up. There is nothing of note in that container. But last turn, without realising it, although it doesn't affect anybody right yet, this trainer has Archaeotech ammunition in it. So those bikes are probably going to want to scooch up over to that and make some good use of it, and as are those Chaos Marines that are following behind them. So we'll get on with my shooting phase. I've not played any mechanicals just yet. I want to try and save them from their really necessary. So I'm going to open fire and see how I do. Back to you at the end of that. And back at the end of my shooting phase, such as it was, the only thing that really happened is the Dreadnought is now out of the pod. The pod is, well, it's wrecked, it's totaled. Got a measly number of hits, because I really should have paid attention to the Omniscience, and took out that pod. Volkite as well joined in, sacrificed the Macro Stubber, and put a wound back on that Cataphron. Let's see. Robots actually fired the final shot that took the pod out, but only by glancing it. So that Dreadnought's out, he's upset. And now it's time for David to roll for his reserves, because it's turn 2 and he can. So it's just the Blitz, and they are on. Mm-hmm. And we'll let you deep strike them or whatever, and we'll get back to you at the end of David's movement phase. And here we are back at the end of David's turn 2 movement. The Rhinos are scooted over, looks like he's going to go for trying to go up the left. Bikes are scooched over towards the centre. Dreadnought has just basically anchored himself. The real big surprising news, well, not really surprising, is these 3 Obliterators have turned up, deep struck, actually hit for once, which is, you know, unusual for you, David. Normally they scatter everywhere for you. But they've landed exactly where they want to. Look like they're going to have a pick on my Tech Priest Dominus and his Cataphrons. So we'll come back to you at the end of that. And back at the end of Iron Warrior's turn 2 shooting, the nose obliterators have certainly paid for their points. Everything that could realistically lit up, put some wounds on the remaining 2 Catathrons, and look out Sirring most of them as he got hosed with Twin Linked Plasma Bolts. Look out Surd all but 2 of the wounds, which wiped out the unit, and then made both of his invulnerable conversion field saves. So he's live, but he's looking a bit on his own, and there's a rampaging horde of Chaos Marines who appear to be coming out into the table. So, any assaults you pun? Oh, actually, no, you can't do any assaults, can you? No, right. So, onwards with my turn. Let's do some reserve rolls, actually, thinking about it. Right, anti-infantry taxi is on. Anti-tank taxi is not on. Okay, so I'll deploy and do my movement phase. We'll get back to you shortly. Here we are at the end of my turn 2 movement. As you can see, the Valkyrie is on, or at least one of them is. Hasn't dropped its cargo yet. Looks like it's going to light up those bikes, try and give them some trouble. The Castellan robots have moved forward. They can't actually see the rhinos, so they're probably just going to have a go at those oblits. My Inquisitor's got a bit closer. Might try and Psychic Shriek them. Tech Priest Dominus getting a bit closer in case he needs to step in and do some work with his axe. And yeah, so we'll do my Psychic phase and then my shooting phase and get back to you. And here we are at the end of my Psychic and shooting for the Imperial Alliance, because you can't call it AdMech just in AdMech anymore. Some wounds have been put on these obliterators. Psychic Shriek from the Inquisitor. You know, there's some serious unloading of firepower, such as it was. The Volkite and the Macro Stubber actually put a wound on that one in the end. Looks like it's going to have to be an assault to try and finish them off quickly. Not really ideal with the army's commanders, but we'll see how it goes. These robots here lit up down here, as did the Valkyrie, onto the Chaos Lord and his bikes. The bike squad is no longer there. The Chaos Lord is on a couple of wounds still. He's lost a wound. And now we're coming to my assault phase. So the only one that actually matters, they're slow and purposeful, so they won't be firing any Overwatch. So first of all, we're going to go for the Tech Priest Dominus. That's a 6-inch, he's in. And the Inquisitor and that squad, the Servitors. Oh, that's a 4. I don't know if they'll make that. I'll measure it up and see what the score is, and we'll do the rolls and get back to you. And we are back at the end of that assault phase, and that was actually pretty darn cool. Got a couple of wounds coming through. One of the oblits in centre took a wound, so that dice actually belongs to him. There was another one there, but between the various attacks, the Demon Hammer getting stuck in, even the Engine Seer got stuck in, and managed to bring one of them down. So 2 wounds lost, passed the leadership check, but because they chose to attack the Magus, his conversion field saved him, and the initiative test was failed, so now the obliterators are blinded. Although I believe I do actually have to check for everybody else as well, because they don't necessarily know he's wearing them. So the Mook Engine Seer is okay. Inquisitor is not okay, he's blinded. So, okay, interesting. So we're going to go into David's turn 3 now, and show you his movement phase. We're back to you at the end of that. And Iron Warrior's movement phase, these 2 rhinos full of Chaos Marines have just gone scooting up, smashing their way over the crate piles, driving up past the ruined buildings. Contemptor moved up in support of the Chaos Lord, who looks like he wants to go and get stuck in that melee over there, because there's a lot of characters. So we'll just have to see how it goes. I don't think they're going to get there for a turn at least, but they're closing the trap, trying to rampage through the lines to get at the civilians. So we'll come back at the end of David's shooting phase and see how he gets on. And Chaos shooting phase, we are back. Not an awful lot happened. The Contemptor unloaded into the Castellans, but weren't really able to stop them. So yeah, we're going to go into the assault phase and try and figure this out, because half the combatants are now blinded. So we'll have to see how it goes. 2 blitz left. Can I polish them off? We'll just have to see. So Chaos assault phase turn 3. Mm-hmm. And here we are back at the end of Chaos assault phase. Bit lackluster. Really fluffed a lot of attacks with my dudes. However, that being said, that aside from one servitor, no one died. The Inquisitor's automatically going to pass. The Engine Seer the Tech Priest is not technically part of that unit. He actually passed the leadership check anyway, so they're still fighting it out. And it's now my turn. So will my final reserve come in on a 3+ with the army's actual general? No, it does not. So I'm down to only one Valkyrie, so I'm just going to have to do my best with what I've got. Right, and we'll see you at the end of my movement phase. And here we are back at the end of AdMech movement phase. The Castellan robots and the Data Smith have stomped across the road. We're in the process of chasing down these rhinos. Still an ongoing melee. Valkyrie's gone into hover mode. Step back a little bit and I've got my dudes out. So there's one squad of Tempest Scions right there ready to rock and roll. Waiting for those Chaos Marines to get out because eventually they will have to, and since they can't assault, they'll need to think about getting out pretty rapidly or else continuing on to try and get at that objective. So yeah, we'll come back at the end of my shooting phase. Oh, the Inquisitor tried to cast Force on his Demon Hammer, but he flunked really badly, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Catch you at the end of my shooting phase. And back at the end of Imperial Alliance shooting phase, turn 3. Bit lackluster. Valkyrie, Heavy Bolters and Multi-Laser actually ended up putting a couple of hull points on this Rhino. The one in front managed to survive. Torrent Flamer down there as well, just to try and polish off the Chaos Lord. Again, nothing, so onto the assault phase. I did play Chant of the Remorseless Fist this time, which should hopefully give me a few more attacks in and make them accurate. So here we go, and we'll be back again shortly. And a quick recap, assault phase ended. Lost the final Servitor, and my Tech Priest Dominus actually went down, got insta-death by a Power Fist. But the remaining Inquisitor and Engineer have backed off over their consolidation move, and looks like they're going to probably join up with that unit there. Charlie! So he's not supposed to be up there. Anyway, yeah, sorry, stupid dogs. Right, anyway, going to go back and come back with David's turn 4. Turn 4 movement phase. And we are back at the end of Iron Warrior's movement phase. As you can see, these rhinos, they've just revved straight up there. Looks like they're going straight for that hatch. And there's 2 full squads in there that are completely untouched, so the likelihood of them making it to at least one of these is highly likely. So, Chaos Lord has rumbled up, looks like he's going for the Inquisitor and the poor little Tech Priest. Yeah, Contemptor don't know what he's going to do, we're just going to have to see how it goes. So, no Psychics again, straight for shooting phase. Back at the end of Iron Warrior shooting phase, turn 4. Here we are at the end of Iron Warrior's turn 4 shooting. These rhinos just flatted out. So you might notice less Scions there now. They passed the leadership check, but that was fire from the Contemptor over here, just lashing them with Heavy Bolters and Havoc missiles. The Chaos Lord tried shooting the Inquisitor with a Platinum Pistol when it got hot on his hand. So, yeah, onto the assault phase. Well, we know what's going to happen. Tell you what, Dave, do you want to just roll? Well, actually, there's no point rolling a charge. You're less than 2 inches away.
Okay,
so bam, in you go. You get your Hammer of Wrath, and then we'll work it out, and we're back to you at the end of the assault phase. Okay, and after that heroic charge, basically the Hammer of Wrath did knock the Inquisitor over. The Engineer stepped forward, shitting bricks. 4 hits, 3 wounds. Saved one of the refractor field, the other 2 made feel no pains, both of them on 6s. So I've got boxcars. So the Engineer is still alive, which to say the least is a bloody miracle. However, it's my turn 4 now, so it means my final reinforcement will arrive, and we'll just have to see how we get on in Imperial Coalition turn 4. And back at the end of Imperial Coalition turn 4. Right. This Valkyrie scooched over from there in hover mode, trying to line up some rear shots on those rhinos. The robots have come over, looks like they're going to try and get stuck in on that Chaos Lord, give him a hand. These Scions have moved over a little bit. The other Valkyrie, the anti-tank one, is going to have a go at that rhino, and it's still got dudes on board with the Commissar Lord, the actual commander of the operation, has actually finally turned up to try and stimulate the Chaos Advance and protect the civilians. So we'll get back to my shooting turn 4. And back at the end of Imperial Alliance shooting phase turn 4, yeah, that's actually reasonably successful. That one came in, fired, eventually glanced and then immobilised, with the help of a couple of melter guns from there, blew that rhino open, disgorging the filthy Nurgle contents. That one behind it is down to
2 hull points.
2 hull points left. Robots didn't engage anything, they're going to go and help out the Inquisitor, because that's their function. So this guy down here got pretty much ignored. So we're going to do the whole charging thing now. My robots, I'll tell you what, I'll just roll it and see how far away I get. My guys are in, that's a 9-inch charge. Right, okay, so we're going to work that out. I've played it in the Electromancer because I really had nothing else. Benediction on my side's not going to help me when all my guns are twin linked anyway. So we're back at the end of my assault phase. And we are back at the end of my turn 4, and that was modestly eventful. Again, that immobilised spilled out, so that was all good. The assault phase, Chaos Lord, well, another time for another challenge. Heroic intervention, in steps the Data Smith, gets Hammer of Wrath, basically ploughed. He gets a wound taken off of him by the robots, and eventually the Data Smith's power fisted him clean off his bike. So he's dead. They managed to consolidate 6 inches, getting over towards his Chaos Marine squad, and the Inquisitor and the little engine seer are moving over there. Looks like they're going to join that unit, and basically now we're on to Chaos turn 5. So movement phase for David. I guess he's probably just going to try and swarm, trying to get into that bloody hatch as best he can. So we'll be back at the end of his movement phase. Quick recap. This is Iron Warrior's movement phase. These dudes were forced to bail out. They're heading towards that. They only spent an entire turn doing nothing but entering that. So I got a turn to stop them at least. Variable game length may also screw them. This unit have got out. I don't know. It looks like they're going to have a go at the robots, or maybe those Tempesta Scions with the Inquisitor. I don't know. So psychic phase first. See how we come on with that. David's got some. I've got some. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Right. So here we go. Back at the end of Iron Warrior's turn 5. Poor squad of Tempesta Scions by the Inquisitor were all basically rinsed. They got heavy bolted, havocked, and just murdered to death. Again, fired some shots here against the Castellan robots. They just tanked through it. Ironically, the Data Smith actually saved a hit, which he failed to look out Sir on his conversion field, so he's fine. These guys got out again, contributed firepower into that squad. So now we're on my turn 5, and then we start getting all variable game length. So here we go, and we'll see how we get on in my turn 5. And we are back at the end of Imperial Coalition movement phase, turn 5. This Valkyrie's just scooched around. I'm going to try and drop some pies down on that unit there. Robots have just stomped over this scrap pile, looking like they're going to get involved. Scions here. Inquisitor's coming around the corner with his little tech priest engine seer in tow. And I'm going to try and stop these scumbags from getting into that hatch there, because if they do, it's all over for those poor little civilians hiding in their underground bunker. So you're going to do psychic phase and shooting combined because it's easier, and then whatever's left is probably going to get assaulted shitless. So back to you after that. And we are back at the end of psychic and shooting phase for the Imperial Alliance, and that whole unit got murdered, just corralled and murdered. That Valkyrie tried to dial up some shots down here into that Contemptor. Hit him with the last cannon, but didn't manage to penetrate, so it's still alive. However, it's looking less and less likely that the Iron Warriors are actually going to get into that manhole, into the shelter underneath. So, David, do you want to roll the dice? 3+ for the game to continue. Game continues. Turn 6 for the Iron Warriors. Back to you at the end of their movement phase. And we are back at the end of Iron Warriors turn 6, which is quicker just to give you a quick recap. Guys got back in the Rhino. They flat outed there. Looks like they're going to try and either make it to that building if they can, which will be tricky for them, or maybe into the middle one, because they're not going to get to that one. But we'll see, because my turn 6, and then again variable on a 4 up little end. So we're going to quickly do my turn, and then we'll come back. Back at the end of Imperial Alliance turn 6. Not an awful lot happened. Put some fire down at things, blew these guys out the Rhino and charged them. Inquisitor got stuck in, lost a wound, but took out the champion, and the little engine seer managed to kill a dude himself. So we're locked in. Does the game end, David? Roll a dice on a 4+. We're good to go.
6.
Right, so we're going on for the final turn, turn 7. Can the Iron Warriors bust loose and actually get into one of the hab areas and start killing civilians? It's looking decidedly like they can't, but we'll come back at the end of the turn and we'll see exactly what goes on. We are back at the end of Iron Warriors turn 7. My god, it has been a proper walloping of a game so far. Sorcerer under there cast, what was that power he cast on the Contemptor?
He cast Earthly Anathema.
Right, so it was ignoring cover, terrain, line of sight and everything else, and it hosed the last 3 remaining, the sergeant and the 2 dudes got murdered, and this little Commissar Lord is down a wound, so he's back to 2. in effect, this assault down here ended up the point engine seer went down, but the Inquisitor's still tanking it out. He's got another round of combat to go. But yeah, so here we go then. My final turn, because they're going to go no longer than this. Hopefully we'll keep the Iron Warriors out and see how we get on. So this is turn 7. And at the end of turn 7, wow, talk about going down to the wire. Brutality. The twin Valkyrie sky taxis hammered into the back of that Contemptor, caused a penetrating hit which glanced and a pen which stunned it, so it wouldn't do anything next round if the game continued, but it's the last turn. The combat over here finally won out. Again, the robots have worked really hard for me all game. They do really well, these Castellans. Stepped into that close combat. Data Smith stepped in, heroically intervened, saved the Inquisitor's life, and splattered the Chaos Sorcerer all over the place with the Power Fist, insta-death. The rest were just basically squished down by the robots. So, as you can see, the way the world ends, the civilians are safe. The Iron Warriors' attack has been repulsed. Although they still have a rampaging Dreadnought, I think it's probably going to decide to get a teleport back to base because this is not looking so well for it. So, yeah, there we go. That's the end of this game, part 5 of the Siege of Hellios, and yeah, I want to know what the Iron Warriors are going to be up to now, because they needed those civilians dead, because they needed energy for sacrificial gubbins. So we'll have to see what they come up with next, and hope you enjoyed our game there, because we certainly did. It's really been down to the wire. So congratulations, by the way, David. Awkward left-handed handshake, mate. But yeah, the Iron Warriors will be back, because they're not done with this planet. There's something here they're obviously after. Just whether or not they can take it. So again, see you again real soon.